time to properly learn things. Um, I didn't give myself time to trust the process because I always wanted things done. I wanted to learn something like this. I wanted to learn about it in the night. If I didn't learn it by the time I went to sleep, what was the use of it? Motivation is gonna be gone. Um, and right now I'm just trying to tell. I'm keep telling myself, you're not gonna learn how to play. You're certainly not gonna learn how to play the piano overnight. So this is one of those times where you gotta just trust the process and trust that what you're doing is right, and give yourself time to learn. You don't have to learn everything overnight. You don't have to know everything piano by tomorrow. Like it doesn't work like that. Um, yeah, that's really all I had to say. Um, just trust yourself, trust the process. Don't rush yourself. Do not rush yourself.
Yeah, I was, in that seminar today, about servant leadership, and that was one of the topics, that they went into was development of people.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the key points that I kind of made for myself to remember was to be patient with people in their processes. I think sometimes we might kind of like compartmentalize the people that we know. Like, okay, these are the people that I know from school. These are the people that I know from my job. These are the people that I know from my church. Um, but it's like, even though people, I think sometimes people wear different hats depending on where they are.
Yeah.
So you might only be meeting like, a work person, or, but at home there's somebody else. Or you might know somebody from church who is a certain way at church, but then they go home and there's somebody else. Um, and so it's like a lot of times I think that we're facing a representation of a person and not really themselves. And so, we do have to be patient, in those types of scenarios. And then I thought too, I think that that's kind of how we are with ourselves. It's like, yeah, we need to be patient with ourselves too as we growing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like everything's not going to be, perfect. Yeah, it's not going to be, overnight. Um, you know, and I like how you talked about trust. You know what I'm saying? It is a trust thing. Like honestly, like that takes a lot of balls to be able to do that for real, because it's like it's almost easier to just say, no, I'm not going to do it, and then just continue to focus on what you're doing right now. But to like take a big leap, and actually plunge into something that you ain't never done before, dude, like that's major, you know. Um, I know for me, I've been doing a lot of like just movements around the house and like, walking, jogging, outside, playing tennis and like um just doing like kind of like a mixture of everything I picked up, from, like martial arts, dance, football, um, basketball, track, all these elements. And it's like, I just like incorporated it into my life and like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I'm doing something new every day. Like I'm doing like like I'm doing a movement with my body that it's never done before, and
Mhm.
that's like it does take a lot of trust, because I think we want to stick to what we know. Like we would rather stick to what we've been doing and like try to muster up some confidence about that. But when you start like doing new stuff, you know, that's when like your brain starts changing for the better, because you're activating parts of your brain that, probably haven't been used before, or at least not to the extent that you're using them for.
Yeah.
So I just think that that's like that's one of those tools that God gives us, man. Like God loves us so much. You know, it's like sometimes if we can just lay down ourselves and trust him, like he be knocking our socks off.
Shoot. Back to what you were saying, Jacob, about being patient with yourself to learn, because you were trying to learn everything, and if you didn't know it by the night, I can really relate to that because when I was younger, and it's surprising that you picked it up at such a young age because it took me a while to actually get that. So it's crazy how advanced you are for your age, and you probably don't look at it like that, but that's dope. But anyway, I remember when I was younger, if I couldn't pick it up really quickly, then I'd forget about it. Like I remember trying a lot of different things, whether it was mathematics or you know um, what was it, learning Spanish or something like that. I eventually, back when I was younger, I wouldn't, keep trying if I failed it after a certain amount of time. They'd be like, okay, I did it once, it seemed a little too hard, or I couldn't figure it out by a certain amount of time. I need to go on to something else. But now, after, especially the military too, help you like learn through stuff. It's like the harder stuff take longer to get. You know what I'm saying? It's like you figure out how to do it over time, but it's worthwhile and it pays off. So I
Mhm.
mean, I think just recently I got into reselling shoes like Jordans and stuff like that. I was watching YouTube for 10 days probably straight for a certain amount of time, 30 minutes a day, XYZ, just to learn how to resell shoes. And it took a long time, but when these things started to click, it really helped out. And another thing I think I was looking at was just like how to market Instagrams, YouTubes, and all that stuff. And like every maybe 10 videos, I get something that's helping me move forward. Like it might not pay off now, but in the future it will.
Yeah.